Chair now recognizes Ms. Boebert from Colorado.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm going to summarize some of the things that have already been said here today rather than ask these questions directly. The federal prosecutors that we have now charged nearly 100 individuals across multiple Minnesota fraud schemes, including Feeding Our Future and related Medicaid, daycare, and autism programs, with 85 of those charged being of Somali descent. Governor Walz, your administration's Department of Education and Department of Human Services failed to act on multiple early fraud warnings about Feeding Our Future, allowing the theft of at least $250 million in federal child nutrition funds that were supposed to feed hungry kids during the COVID-19 pandemic. Governor Walz, I'd like to turn to the demographics and policy choices that enabled this. Since you took office, the Somali population in Minnesota has grown substantially. Recently, Fox 9 reported, the reporting puts the total over 107,000. Did your administration's soft on immigration policies, including expanded refugee programs and temporary protected status, contribute to that rapid growth?
I couldn't speak to why people moved to Minnesota, other than it's a great place to live. It could be a sanctuary policy and refugee programs and temporary protected statuses. According to the Center for Immigration Studies analysis of census data, 81% of Minnesota households headed by Somali immigrants receive one or more forms of public assistance, compared to just 21% of native-born Minnesotan households. Why is that disparity so extreme under your watch, sir? I can't speak specifically, Congressman, but I would anticipate that new generation immigrants, whether they be Norwegian or whether they be Hmong or whether they be Somali, probably on the front end as they're establishing home ownership, education.
I think we should be bringing folks to our country that are going to contribute and not just siphon off of the tax dollars of American citizens. Mr. Governor Walz, yes or no, would stricter vetting of immigrants and refugees have prevented many of these fraudsters from entering our country in the first place?
I wouldn't have any way to know that.
Do you agree with stricter vetting processes for those who are coming to our country?
I don't care where you're coming from. If you commit fraud, you're going to jail in Minnesota. That's what I care about, and that's what I'm here for.
Yes or no, should Somali immigrants or any other immigrants who defraud American taxpayers and steal funds intended for hungry children be deported immediately?
That's a decision for the federal government. You're responsible for immigration.
Governor Walz, do you know who Victoria Eileen Harwell is?
I do not believe I do.
What about American Mafalda Tyer?
I don't believe I do.
There. These are Minnesota women who were brutally killed by illegal aliens in your state. You don't know who they are, so I would also assume that you did not attend their vigils or speak out to their families when they were brutally killed by illegal aliens.
I'm not familiar with both of these, no, Congresswoman.
No, just the hard-hitting CNN ones. Yes or no, would you support ending Minnesota's sanctuary policies to stop these fraudsters and murderers from using your state as a safe haven?
Well, as I said on June 12th, we don't have sanctuary policies, and Tom Holman reiterated that here in the past few weeks that we do not either, and that we are cooperating as required.
Thank you, Governor. Will you direct local law enforcement to fully cooperate with ICE and federal agents and follow federal immigration laws that are currently on the books?
They do. If they want to do more, they can, but we have a floor that they have to. And that's been proven time and time again in Minnesota over this. That's why they're leaving, because we had cooperated.
Okay. Final question for you, Governor. There are multiple documented reports of Somali immigrants entering sham marriages, including siblings and close family members, solely for immigration purposes. Are you aware of these reports, and what, if anything, has your administration done to stop this kind of immigration fraud happening in your state?
States are not responsible for immigration screening, and I'm not familiar with what you're referencing.
You're not responsible for any vetting whatsoever?
federal
Well,
government.
this is happening under your watch, and there's immigration fraud, so we will do everything that we can. And hopefully you allow your local law enforcement officers to coordinate with federal agents when we are going after these immigration fraudsters.
As
Thank you,
we do.
Governor.
Thank you, Madam.